You launch your free VPN with unlimited data, you queue up a show, so you're all set to binge, right? Except when you try to connect to a UK server, it forces you onto one in the US instead. Well, okay, no problem. I mean, you just switch to your other free VPN that doesn't pick the server for you. 2.5 episodes later, you've suddenly run out of data. Now you gotta wait a full month to continue watching your favorite show. Well, if you've ever used Proton VPN or Windscribe on their free plans, you've probably been in this position. So here's what I want to do today. I've been testing VPNs for years and I ran both of these through my own tests. The free plan, the paid plan, and by the end you'll know 3 things. What each free plan actually gets you, because a free VPN means something very different for each of these. What paying unlocks, and finally, which one's the better buy. And stick around to the end because the speed test honestly threw me for a loop. The VPN you'd bet on being slower actually held its speed a little better on every measure I care about. I'll put the numbers on screen and let you see it for yourself. So let me say the nice thing first, because it's true. I mean, both of these are real exceptions to the general free VPNs are garbage rule. Most free VPNs sell your data or barely work in the first place, and that's not the case with these two. They both do a great job at encrypting your traffic without leaks, and neither one is logging where you go. Now, it's easy to say that you don't keep any logs, but why should we believe them? Well, both VPNs get routine audits from third-party security firms. Proton routinely publishes their results of their security audits, most recently last year, and Windscribe isn't audited as frequently as it's 2 years since the most recent audit by Packet Labs. And if that's not enough for you to trust them, I've saved the best for last. Both Proton and Windscribe have made their entire VPN client open source. So if there was something fishy in the code, you can bet some security researcher would have dug it up by now. So both of these clear the trust bar. The rest of this is about which one's actually better, not which one's safe. Now, obviously, one of the biggest draws of either of these VPNs are the free tiers, but what the free plan actually gives you is where they start splitting, and very fast. So let's start with data. Proton's free plan is the rare one with unlimited bandwidth, and Windscribe, it caps you. You get 10 gigabytes a month once you verify your email, and you can push it to 15 with a tweet. 10 gigs is roughly 3.5 hours of 1080p video. So on raw data, it's an easy win for Proton. But here's the twist. On Proton Free, you don't get to pick your server. The app connects you to whatever it calls the fastest server, and that's pretty much it. Meanwhile, Windscribe hands you a list of 10 countries and lets you choose, which is quite nice. Proton's free list is also 10 countries, but they're not exactly the same. So Proton auto-picks the server location for you, but what's the big deal? I mean, surely it's good to be on the fastest server, right? Well, it matters because picking your server is streaming. And this is where we come back to the problem from the start of the video. Watch what happens. Okay, here's Proton on the free plan on Windows. Let's say I want to watch a show on US Netflix and I open the countries list here, right? I scroll past fastest country up top and click the US server down here. Well, nothing. I don't get a server. I get a wall. Proton tells me I need to upgrade to get that location. So all I'm left with is the fastest country. So I'll try that, and yeah, that's obviously not the server I wanted. So all that unlimited data, I can't use it actually for what I want in this case, which is streaming. Now watch as I try the same thing in Windscribe, right? I open the Windscribe app and head into the locations list. And here's the difference. I actually get to pick a US server right here from the list. Then I hit the big power button and there we go. As easy as it is now, I'm connected. And down in the corner, see that? It still says 10 gigabytes left. So I'm on the free plan. Now I'll just open Netflix. Here we are in the Netflix US library. Now this means I can access shows from US Netflix that are not available elsewhere. Or if you're a US person traveling abroad and you want your favorite shows from Netflix, you can also access this now while being abroad. In my testing, Windscribe's free plan consistently unblocked BBC iPlayer, Disney Plus, and Prime Video, which is great. Netflix is a bit more iffy, I would say. Like, it does work, but sometimes you you got to jump around a few different servers. If your main reason for a free VPN is torrenting, well, Windscribe lets you do it on the free plan as well. Proton bans peer-to-peer file sharing on the free plan entirely. So if your whole reason for a free VPN is streaming and downloading, I mean, Windscribe is one of the best free streaming VPNs out there. By the way, if streaming is your entire reason for any of this, I ranked the best VPNs for Netflix specifically in another video, which I'll link you up here. And if this head-to-head is really helping you actually decide, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so that's the free plans. So far, it seems like Windscribe is the obvious choice, right? Well, the second you pay, it's a very different story. Let me give you a quick tour of both paid apps, and I'm going to do this in two parts. First, essentially a little fast pass over the stuff that's basically the same on both, but honestly, most of the feature list is a wash. Then I'll slow down on a handful of things that actually differ. So let's start with just opening the two apps side by side because you notice the difference before you even touch a setting. I mean, look at this. On the left, Proton VPN opens as a full-sized application window with a little room to breathe. I mean, the map, the country list, the settings, all laid out where you can see them. Now on the right, we have Windscribe. It crams the whole thing into the smallest window possible with this little narrow strip down right here. And honestly, it's a bit annoying. You end up scrolling and squinting for stuff that Proton just puts in front of you. It's not really a deal breaker, but you feel it every single time you open the app. All right, now the fast pass, because once you're inside, a lot of these settings are the same exact features with maybe a little bit of a different name on the label. Both apps do split tunneling, where you pick which apps skip the VPN entirely, and it works the same on both. There is a stealth protocol for punching through networks that block VPNs. Great, both have one, and Proton literally calls its option stealth, and Windscribe has its own version that leans on a tool called WS Tunnel to dress your traffic up as ordinary web traffic. Both also do hardened routing, where you get sent through two servers instead of one to be, a little bit harder to trace. Proton calls it secure core, Windscribe calls it multi-hop. The only difference here is that Proton runs yours through servers in its safest countries. Ad tracker, malware blocking at the network level is obviously on both software solutions too. And here are the labels that change again. Windscribe's tool is right here in the settings menu called Robert, and Proton is called the NetShield. And that's most of the settings menu. I'm not going to march you through every toggle because honestly, I'd just be wasting your time. I put the full feature by feature comparison in the chart linked in the description box below, so you can check any specific one that you care about at your own pace. Okay, now the stuff that actually differs, starting with the one setting I did not lump in with the rest, and that is the kill switch. It's worth its own minute because it does the same critical job on both, but it's called something different and lives somewhere completely different. First, just a quick reminder on what it even does. If your VPN connection ever quietly drops, your real IP address is suddenly exposed. The kill switch cuts your internet the instant that happens, so nothing sneaks out. You want this on, believe me. On the right here, here's Proton on Windows. I open the settings and click into kill switch right here. I flip it on and two options appear. Now we have standard and then we have advanced. Advanced stays locked even after you reboot your machine. So Proton buries it in the settings and calls it kill switch, right? Over on the left-hand side on Windscribe, there is nothing called kill switch at all because it's actually this firewall toggle sitting right here on the main dashboard. It's different name, different place. I flip it on and my traffic's locked to the tunnel too. And there we go. Both cover you. Proton just adds that extra reboot proof level. Now let's go to server choice. On the free plan, this was the whole ball game. I mean, Proton locked you out and Windscribe let you pick essentially. And on paid, both of them open up, right? But how they open up is genuinely different. And this is the one I really want to actually see. Here's the paid Proton on Windows. I open the countries list and look at this. 148 countries, all unlocked, right? I click United States and it expands into individual states right here. So Arizona, California, New York, the whole run, right? And then I click Arizona and a flyout slides out with every single server in it. Look, it even shows me the server load, so I can just grab the lightest one and then connect. Then there is these tabs up top that lets me jump to specialty servers. Right here, a peer-to-peer tab for torrenting, a secure core tab, and a Tor tab. More on that last one a little bit later in the video. Now over here in Windscribe, the list I would say is a bit leaner. You still get to pick your location, you always could, and paying opens up the rest of the map for Windscribe, but it's definitely a little bit of a shorter list here. Roughly 70 countries, and it doesn't drill down into per server load the way Proton's does. So Proton just gives you a lot more to choose from and a lot more detail while you're choosing the country that you want to connect to. And speaking of those specialty tabs, one of them is a Proton-only trick that Windscribe flat out doesn't have. That is Tor over VPN. And let me show you. I click the Tor tab here in Proton, and it opens a Tor countries list. I pick one and connect, and now I'm routed into Tor without ever opening a special browser. And bam, essentially, the hard part is done in one click. Windscribe has no equivalent. So if you want easy access to Tor, that's a Proton-only edge feature. Now, Windscribe does a trick of its own that Proton can't really match. It's anti-fingerprinting. Sites don't just track you with cookies. They profile your specific browser, your fonts, your screen size. Every little bit adds to your fingerprint that identifies you even better than your IP address. Windscribe fights that, and it's a free tool baked into its browser extension. Let me show you where this lives exactly. I open the Windscribe browser extension, I click into Preferences and head to Privacy page right here, and there it is, a toggle labeled Anti-Fingerprinting. I flip it on, and now it works to scramble those little browser tells so sites have a harder time pinning down exactly who you are. The other Windscribe edge is simpler, and it's about devices. Windscribe lets you connect unlimited devices at once. Proton caps you at 10. 10 covers most households just fine, but if you've got a big family or a pile of gadgets, I mean, unlimited is a real win here. So that's the apps. But what does any of this actually cost? Let me put the prices on screen so you can see the whole thing. The numbers are closer than you'd think. I mean, Windscribe Pro runs about $69 a year, which works out to $575 a month. Proton VPN Plus on the 2-year term, call it $43 a year. So Proton actually costs less, about $43 a year versus Windscribe $69, and it gives you probably a bit more for it, right? So I'll give Windscribe some credit here because it has the cleverest pricing idea of the two. They call it a build a plan, and it's $1 per location per month. So if all you need is, say, the US and the UK, you pay for 2 locations. And that's it. I thought that was a gimmick when I first saw it, but if you really only need a couple of countries, like unblocking BBC iPlayer and Netflix, for example, well, it's a really clever option in my opinion. But here's the thing Windscribe has no answer to. Proton has a bundle called Proton Unlimited for about $10 a month on the 2-year term, the same ballpark as Windscribe Pro, for example. You don't just get the VPN, you get Proton Mail, Proton Drive, Proton Pass, and Proton Calendar all folded in, an entire encrypted privacy suite for the price of a standalone VPN subscription. And that's where Proton pulls clear ahead on the value. I actually did a deep dive on the entire Proton ecosystem recently on my other channel, so check that one out down in the description box below. And since we're on pricing, I keep the best VPN deals linked in the description box below, and I keep it updated, so no matter when you're watching, you're getting the best price I can find. All right. Let's get back to it. And finally, we get to the one thing the feature list doesn't settle, which is how fast either of these actually is. This is the surprise I mentioned at the start because it didn't go the way I expected. Now, the only fair way to measure VPN speed is the percentage of your normal speed that survives the connection. How much of my regular unprotected speed did each one hold onto once the VPN was on? Well, most of it, I can say that. Look at this chart right here. On download, Windscribe held onto 95.9% of my baseline. Proton held 93.9%. So Windscribe kept a little more, and it's not just downloads. On upload, Windscribe held 96.9% to Proton's 90.6%. And latency, well, that's your ping, how quickly the connection responds. Windscribe came in at 3.5 milliseconds against Proton's 8.5. Lower is obviously better here. So I'll just say it straight. I mean, on pure speed, Windscribe edges out Proton. Download, upload, and ping, all three lean its way more towards Windscribe. I did not expect that going in, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. The edge is clearly small, and you will probably not notice it in day-to-day work. And both of these are really fast. I don't even think you would feel a difference when streaming or browsing. No, absolutely not, right? So Windscribe takes it when it comes to speed. but a small speed edge does not outweigh a far bigger network, the better trust record, and the whole privacy suite Proton folds in for the same money. And numbers like those speed results are exactly the kind of thing that shifts. Services like these, I mean, they change constantly. New audits, fresh prices, newest deals, new test numbers like the one I just showed you. If you want to stay current between videos, I'll drop a newsletter link in the description box below. It's where I send these updates first so you can unlock them when you receive them. So here's the bottom line, and it's not some both are great cop-out, right? Proton VPN is my pick across the board. I mean, free or paid, hands down. It's got unlimited free data, a far deeper paid network. I mean, the bundle that throws in a whole privacy suite and a really solid trust record. Now, Windscribe does win in one specific use case. It's the best free streaming VPN because you can choose your server. But other than that, I mean, Proton is better in basically every single way. So if you've been asking what to switch to when your free VPN won't stream, I mean, you got your answer. If you want the full breakdown on why Proton earns the top spot, the audits, the full trust record, all of it, you can check out my full Proton VPN review, and the link is, as usual, up here or down in the description box below. If this helped you, make a call, give it a like, and subscribe. It really does help me keep testing these services and continue with the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.